The United States, a beacon of hope for many, faces deep-seated problems. Economic inequality is rampant. Healthcare is a privilege, not a right. Political polarization is tearing the nation apart. These issues are not just statistics, they are the daily realities for millions of Americans. The American dream, once a promise of prosperity and upward mobility, now feels out of reach for many. The gap between the rich and poor has widened to a chasm, leaving many struggling to make ends meet. It's time to face these uncomfortable truths. We can no longer ignore the plight of so many Americans. It's time to bridge the divides, heal the wounds, and build a more just and equitable society for all. The statistics paint a stark picture. The wealthiest 1% of Americans own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. This concentration of wealth at the top has real-life consequences for everyone else. Stagnant wages, rising costs of living, and lack of access to affordable healthcare and education are just a few of the challenges faced by millions of working Americans. Many work full-time jobs but still can't afford basic necessities. The minimum wage has not kept pace with inflation, leaving many minimum wage earners struggling to survive. Housing costs have skyrocketed, making it difficult for families to find affordable housing. This economic inequality breeds resentment, instability, and a sense of hopelessness. It's a system that benefits the few at the expense of the many. In the richest nation on earth, healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. Yet, millions of Americans are uninsured or underinsured, forced to choose between their health and financial ruin. The United States spends more on healthcare than any other developed country, yet has worse health outcomes. Millions are burdened with medical debt, and many delay or forego necessary medical care due to cost. The Affordable Care Act made strides in expanding healthcare coverage, but millions remain uninsured, and many more struggle with high deductibles and out-of-pocket costs. This broken healthcare system is a moral and economic crisis. It's time for a system that prioritizes the health and well-being of all Americans, not just the profits of insurance companies and pharmaceutical corporations. Section 4. The Political Divide, a House Divided. Political polarization has reached a fever pitch in the United States. The two-party system, once a source of stability, now seems to exacerbate divisions, fostering gridlock and inaction. Extreme partisanship, fueled by misinformation and a lack of civil discourse, has created an environment of distrust and animosity. Compromise and collaboration are rare, and finding common ground feels impossible. This political dysfunction has real-world consequences. It prevents progress on critical issues like climate change, gun violence, and immigration reform. We need to find ways to bridge the political divide and engage in respectful dialogue. We need leaders who prioritize the needs of the people over partisan interests. Section 5. Lessons from abroad. Other developed countries have successfully tackled many of the challenges facing the United States. From universal health care to affordable education, these countries offer valuable lessons. Canada, for example, has a universal healthcare system that provides coverage to all citizens. Many European countries have robust social safety nets that provide support for the unemployed, the elderly, and the disabled. These countries demonstrate that it is possible to create a more just and equitable society. They provide a roadmap for how the United States can address its own challenges. Section 6. A Call to Action. The problems facing the United States are complex and deeply rooted, but they are not insurmountable. It's time for a collective awakening, a recognition that we can and must do better. We need to demand better from our elected officials. We need to hold them accountable for enacting policies that promote economic equality, affordable health care, and a more civil and productive political discourse. This requires a shift in mindset, a recognition that we are all in this together. We need to move beyond partisan divides and embrace a spirit of empathy and compassion. Section 7. A Brighter Future. The challenges are real, but so is the potential for change. By acknowledging the problems, learning from others, and working together, we can create a brighter future for all Americans. A future where economic opportunity is available to all, where healthcare is a right, not a privilege, and where political discourse is civil and productive. Let's choose hope over despair, action over apathy. Let's build a more just and equitable America for ourselves and for generations to come.